What up, man? It's your boy, Mr. GC, Adrian Taylor, back at it again, man. I tend to get a little inspiration from, morning meditation and doing some cardio, listening to, affirmations and meditation music, man. Just keeping my mind fresh. But today I want to talk about the power of the dollar, or the lack thereof. It was funny, me and a friend, we was having a conversation about, how our parents were able to make way less money and have a better quality of life than we're able to have, making, 3, 4, 5 times, in some cases, than what they made. And I was explaining to him, man, it's because the value of the dollar has gone down so much that, what you could make and live off of, 20, 25, 30 years ago, that's just unrealistic, which is the reason why you have now both parents in the household tend to work, instead of how it used to be one. I was having a conversation with this lady that was closer to retirement, and she was saying after she graduated college and started in the workforce, she said, you wanted to make your age and money. As simple as that. So if you was coming out of college, if you was making, and you're 22, 23, you was 22, 23, you just wanted to make 22,000, 23,000. And you were pretty much successful, middle class, gonna have a decent, living. Because also too, you have to think back, man, like rent at that time, couple $100, getting a brand new car, economic car, let's go for there, 10,000 maybe, you know what I mean? Like, you could buy a house or rent or buy a car. Like, you can live, quote unquote, that American dream that is sold to us so heavy back then, whereas now, of course, it's a lot harder. It's harder for kids to buy houses. It's a lot harder for all of these different things. Why? Because depending on what city you live in, if you're making $40,000 coming out of college, that ain't no money. So it's going to be extremely hard for you to get ahead if your parents didn't set you up in a way to be ahead after you get out of college. Because think about it, you got all this debt. You probably have about $70,000 to $80,000 in debt from student loans, and you're only making about $40,000, $45,000 a year. We're talking averages. We're not talking people with more, depending on what their majors are, but we're just talking average here. So how is that helping your quality of life? It's not, what I'm saying? We struggling. People look at millennials like, oh, they're lazy. They don't want to get out and do anything. No, it's the fact that we are making way less money, and inflation is just killing us. Houses cost, starter homes, we're talking $150,000 to $200,000. We're talking starter homes, especially depending on if you're in a big city. You know what I mean? If you're in a nice size city, that's a good price for a starter home. And you're coming out of college making $45,000 a year. Come on, man. Like, whereas I can remember the house that my parents bought, coming up, they bought, I think it was like $20,000, $20,000 for a brand new house. $20,000. Can you imagine buying a house, a brand new house, 3 bedrooms, on a brand new for $100,000 even, right? $100,000. That's crazy. So it's tough, and somehow we have to understand, like, and figure out, which I'll talk in a later video, is multiple streams of income. Like, we can't get by with what our parents did, you know what I'm saying, unless your job is bringing in that type of income and then you're able to only work one. But even still, you should have 2 to 3 streams of income at this point, in our lives, because of the devalue of the dollar. It's horrible. Inflation is crazy. So what are you gonna do knowing that information, that we set up to fail? We're not gonna have the opportunities that our parents, quote unquote, had. Education isn't going to necessarily guarantee us a middle class life or a comfortable life, however you want to call it. It doesn't guarantee that, the way it may have, kind of guaranteed that, or at least gave you a super fighting chance, 30, 40 years ago. Hey man, dollar going down, we got to make way more money. That's a problem. It's a problem with the economy. I know everyone says that, oh, our economy is great and we're doing this and that. But the way the inflation is set up, at some point, some got to give. All right, man. It's your boy, Mr. GC, Adrian Taylor, and I'm out.